one year. This allows us to provide the service across the community rather than giving one family or one individual all of the services. But the most amazing thing about that program or the agency, anyone can qualify for assistance of that program because it tends to pick up where an individual left off. For instance, if an individual is working like 10 years, been working 10 years, and they, for no fault of their own, break a leg, get sick, or have family problems, and they lose a portion of income, if not all the income, then they can come in and get assistance for that for that program, even if they were making $50,000 a year before they got injured. You see, so it's a real safety net to kind of shoot the gaps, to keep a family or an individual going during that time of hardship.
And so the Metropolitan Action Commission really serves a real need, but now is it supported primarily by the federal government or by the metropolitan government, or where does the majority of the monies come from that you use to operate this program?
The majority of the funds of the Metropolitan Action Commission comes from the federal government. About 95–97% of the funds are provided by the federal government. They do have a clause in there in the Head Start program where the city has to match it by 25% on the dollar. So that's what we call local dollars. And we're getting toward that full match, hopefully under this administration. It has not happened in the past. So therefore, it's been a very limited program in terms of what we can do administratively and in terms of the operating budget. But when we get the full budget in there, I think we'll be able to provide even more services.
And so there's a possibility of you being able to increase what you're doing in terms of reaching out and touching those, the so-called working poor, now with some of the new developments. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. You see, what has happened, like I said, we have grown since 1988 by 70–75%. However, the operating budget has not kept up that pace because we've not been able to get the local dollars. I think we have a commitment under this administration to get those local dollars, so therefore, you're right, we'll be able to buy more supplies for the students, provide more services for the needy, assist more senior citizens, and expand the program overall.
You know, I think one of the most important elements in the Metropolitan Action Commission has to be Head Start. And of course, we have only a minute before our first commercial break here, Mr. Hunt, and I don't want to raise any questions dealing with that and then have to interrupt you. But really what I think we'd like to do today in dealing with Head Start is to talk about some of your experiences and some of the things that you found dealing with the education of young children. That is to, you know, you've been involved in this a long time in Head Start, and you've been involved with Head Start and et cetera. Perhaps by the end of this show, we can at least leave with some impression in reference to what we have to do in order to educate our young children, and some of the things that you have seen that we need to do, or some of the things that we shouldn't do, and let's do it from that perspective. I think that with all of your experiences in Head Start and with the program and et cetera, we should be able to do that, and we'll do that when we come back during this second segment. And of course, we'll be back with you following this short commercial break. Thank you, and welcome back to the second segment of the show for today. The topic is the Metropolitan Action Commission, and we're talking to the Executive Director of the Metropolitan Action Commission, Mr. Walter Hunt. And of course, Mr. Hunt, before we had our first commercial break, I think we sort of promised that we would give you an opportunity during the second segment to talk about education within the frameworks of the Metropolitan Action Commission. And so let's do that. Let's have you to talk about it from whatever perspective you wish to use.
Well, I think the Head Start program is the most important program that we've ever experienced. It's the only program that I recall surviving both parties, Republicans and Democrats in Congress, and the program has really grown. We, across the state of Tennessee, have have served about 1 million students since the program was
Just
created.
across Tennessee.
Just across Tennessee. We've done probably about 750,000 right here in Nashville alone. But let me say, first of all, how important this program is, because about 3 years ago, there were no mandatory kindergarten laws in the state of Tennessee. So therefore, the undereducated, the young, some young poor kids did not have an opportunity to go to preschools because they couldn't afford it. So they were sitting at home for the most part, waiting until they become of age to enter the first grade. By that time, they was 2 years behind. They recognized this years ago, and the program, the Head Start program, although it is a national program, actually started right here in Nashville by a lady by the name of Susan Gray, and she took that concept to Sergeant Shriver in Washington, and it was developed at that point. But since that time, the program, as I said, has grown tremendously. One of the things that we find in a lot as early as the Head Start students is some of the same problems that we see in the older kids today. They have sometimes a lack of self-esteem, lack of direction, because they've not had that kind of training. So when we look at the students that we have put through the Head Start program, they tend to do better in school. They are more